Compare your life honestly against the people you grew up with. Not the highlight reel. The actual load. What you have had to carry, at what age, with how much help. Yours has been harder. You already knew that, and you have spent years refusing to say it out loud because it sounds like self-pity. It is not self-pity. It is data. And it is the most useful thing about you. Because the difficulty was not distributed randomly. It was concentrated. On you. Deliberately. And in the next few minutes I am going to tell you what it was building, and the one thing it has cost you that nobody warns you about. Start with what you have observed and dismissed. Things that come easily to other people arrive late for you, or arrive only after they have been fought for. You have watched people get handed things you had to bleed for. Not once. As a pattern. Your childhood ended earlier than theirs. There was a specific week, or a specific conversation, where you stopped being a child because somebody had to be the adult and nobody else was going to. You do not talk about that week. And every stable thing you have built has been tested to the point of breaking, usually just as it started to work. You have called this bad luck. You have wondered, quietly, whether you are cursed. Neither. Look at the shape of it. Bad luck is random. What you have had is not random. Random misfortune scatters. It hits your finances one year and your health another and then leaves you alone for 5. Yours has been sustained, targeted, and, this is the part that gives it away, precisely calibrated. Every single thing that has happened to you, you survived. Sit with that. It is easy to skip past. You are still here. Whatever came, it was pitched at exactly the level of something you could just barely take. Not less, or it would have taught you nothing. Not more, or you would not be listening to this. That is not what bad luck looks like. That is what training looks like. Ask any coach what a good session feels like from the inside. It feels like too much, delivered by someone who knows exactly how much you can take. So what was being built? First, you cannot be bought. People who have never gone without will do almost anything to avoid going without. That is the hook the world uses on them, and it works. It does not work on you, because you have already been there and you came back. You know the floor. It is lower than they think and you have stood on it. That makes you unusually free, and slightly frightening to people who are not. Second, you can be alone. Most people cannot. They will stay in rooms that are hurting them rather than sit in a quiet house. You learn to be alone early, because you had to. You call it damage. It is a capability, and almost nobody has it. Third, and this is the one that matters, you can hold weight without dropping it on other people. You have carried things nobody knew you were carrying. You went to work. You were kind to someone who did not deserve it that day. That is not nothing. That is the rarest thing on the list. Now the fair question. Why you? Why not the person who has coasted, who has never once been tested, whose worst year was your average Tuesday? Because they are not being prepared for anything. That is not an insult. It is a description of a different assignment, and theirs may be perfectly good. But you do not train someone for a load they will never be asked to carry. And you do not leave someone untested who is going to be. Somewhere in front of you is a situation that will require a person who has already been broken and rebuilt. You will not be able to fake your way through it. It will need someone who has actually been there. Every hard year has been assembling that person, and you have been complaining about the assembly the entire time. Which is fair. It hurt. Here is the part one promised, and it is not comfortable. The training costs you the ability to be casual. You cannot do small talk properly anymore. You have tried. Something in you keeps searching for the real thing under the conversation, and when there is not one, you go quiet, and people read it as coldness. It costs you patience with complaining. Someone describes a problem you would consider a good week, and something in you goes hard and unkind, and you hate that about yourself. That is a scar. Be careful with it. It will cost you people who did nothing wrong except have an easier life. And it costs you the ability to be impressed. You watch people chase things and you cannot make yourself want them. Status. Approval. The next rung. You went past the point where those work, and you can never go back to before you knew. That is the real price. Not the hard years. The fact that you cannot unsee what the hard years showed you. So what do you do tomorrow? Stop asking when it gets easier. Not because it never does, it does, and it will. But because the question keeps you facing backwards, waiting for a refund on the years. There is no refund. There is a capability, and it is already in your hands. Start asking what it is for. Look at the specific shape of what you survived. Not the pain of it, the shape. Whatever you went through, there are people in it right now with nobody who has been there. You are the person who has been there. That is not a consolation prize. It is the whole assignment, and you have been holding the qualification the entire time. And be careful with the scar tissue. The hardness that got you through is not the thing you need now, and it will cost you people if you keep it drawn. You are allowed to put it down indoors. One thing I will not do, because this channel is not for comfortable lies. I am not telling you it was worth it. I do not know what you lost. Some of it may not have been worth any amount of character, and anyone who tells you otherwise is not being kind, they are being tidy. Some things are just loss. What I am telling you is narrower. It was not random, it was not punishment, and it was not because something is wrong with you. It was concentrated on you because you were the one who could take it, and the evidence for that is simply that you did. You are still here, listening, at the end of a long argument about your own life. So stop asking why it was you. You know why. You have known since you were young enough that it was not fair. You were made harder because something ahead of you is heavy, and light people cannot carry heavy things. You are not behind. You are loaded. Decode the signs. Step into your divine power. I will see you in the next one.